Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Arun. I'm Solutions Architect, MCT, currently working with Novintech, which is one of the best organization to work with. And today we are going to describe network segmentation in Azure. So this is our topic. So let's get started. So what is network segmentation? First, we need to understand this. What is network segmentation? And then what it means in Azure. We'll see how we can achieve it in Azure and what are the benefits, why we should do this. So let's dive into it. What is network segmentation? Well, as you can see, network segmentation is the practice of dividing a network into smaller isolated sections or segments so that each section can be secured, monitored, and managed independently. Or just to understand, think of it like a building with separate rooms. Each room has its own door and lock. So even if someone gets into one room, they can't freely access the others. Take it further. If some guest comes from outside, he sits in the central room. When when a guest come, he sits in a central room, and everybody has their own room, right? And once he sits in the central room, and whose friend that person is may go to their room, right? So think it as in the perspective of Azure. What I'm trying to say, in Azure we have a virtual network, and these virtual networks are segmented into multiple subnets, right? Now this could be app subnet, and this could be DB subnet, right? Now there are other subnets as well, but no one can talk to this. No, only app can talk to DB, that kind of segmentation. Okay, so this virtual network, this entire virtual network is divided into multiple subnet, and there are NSGs and policies. You are controlling the traffic as well, right? Okay, so now we have understood network segmentation. It involves dividing a network into smaller isolated segments or virtual networks. Why we are saying virtual network? Because this is happening inside the virtual network. It may possible we have designed our environment as a multiple virtual network for multiple workloads. All right, which is again separation or segmentation, because ultimately all these belong to the same organization, but as per the business unit, as per the workloads, we may have divided multiple virtual networks, right? Good. So let's get ahead and understand what it means in Azure. First, well, in Azure, segmentation usually means separating workloads into different virtual networks, as you have must have seen hub and spoke model in Azure Landing Zone and most of the architectures where it is divided into multiple virtual network. This is one virtual network which is dev. This is one virtual network which is prod. This is UAT, and all are connected to the hub virtual network where we have the shared services, so that any request comes from the internet, it will come here first, it gets scanned, filter, and as per the request, it may go to this or this or this anywhere, right? So this is the segmentation happen here, segmentation happening at this layer, segmentation happening even at the layer where the traffic is getting into. So this way, public facing resources like web apps can have their own subnet uh, behind. For example, let me try to explain this. For example, here is another virtual network where we have web, app, and DB. Okay, the traffic coming from outside can only talk to the web, and only web can talk to the app, and only app can talk to the DB. That's what I meant. So that's how it would be segregated, segmented, and controlled. Now, how to achieve this in Azure? Let's see that. So first of all, virtual network, we can create multiple virtual network or multiple subnet inside the virtual network. We can connect them through peering as we have connected here, right? Like this, all these VNets are connected to this hub VNet through the peering. Okay. And inside the virtual network, if you need to split, you can segment it further to the through with the help of subnet. Then you can control this segmentation with the help of NSGs. Like you need to apply the rule allow or deny, otherwise it doesn't make any sense because everybody can talk to everyone. It's not segmented. Segmentation works only once there are multiple subnet and there are rules of allow and deny, right? You can also further utilize Azure Firewall if traffic is coming from outside and you want to go outside. You remember the previous video we have talked about. So incoming and outgoing. Azure Firewall will help here, right? Even in some organization where security is very high, if this UAT wants to not UAT wants to talk to prod or dev, it will not go directly. It will go to the firewall and see if it is allowed or not. Only then it will talk to the dev, right? Even they are trying to talk to each other, it will be controlled by the firewall. So firewall will plays a role in segmentation. NSG will play a role in segmentation, virtual networks, subnets, WAF, all those things. WAF, all those things will play a good role in the segmentation. As of now, we have a pretty decent idea what is segmentation, how it can be achieved in Azure, but why are we doing this? Let's try to understand this. The very first thing is improved security. As you can see, we are segmenting on the basis of the resources and only required one can talk to that particular resource. With the help of NSG and firewall, we are separating it. So this will help us by isolating the sensitive resources. And also it will help us to contain the attack. If a breach happens in one segment, attackers can't move freely to the other part of the network. If, for example, if a compromised IoT device is in its own subnet, it can't directly reach your SQL server in another subnet, right? So reduced attack surface. How come? Because only required ports and protocols are allowed between the segment. So the surface is less, minimizing the exposure of critical workloads to the public internet, right? Then we have enhanced performance. How come? Because segmentation reduces unnecessary traffic flow or broadcast and keeps heavy workloads isolated so they don't affect unrelated systems like analytic processing VMs don't flood the same subnet as real-time transaction systems. So it enhances the performance. Then easier compliance. How come? Because many regulations like PCI or HIPAA or GDPR require segmentation of data processing environment. And if you're already doing this, because that's how it's supposed to be done to improve the security, to reduce the attack, to enhance the performance. So you are easily achieving your compliance, but even compliance wants that. Now, it will give you a simplified management and policy enhanced enforcement because applying NSG or firewall rules at subnet level for easier control. So simplified management you're applying on subnet and everything is on the same place, Azure Firewall. So centralized inspection points using hub and spoke model as we have seen in the previous slide. Now everything is going from one place, so better visibility. It has a wonderful logging and monitoring system, so easier to spot anomalies in a smaller, isolated traffic flow. And finally, the flexibility in architecture. It allows mixing of different workloads, prod, dev, test without interference. It facilitates multi-tenant or departmental isolation shared environment. It makes your architecture modular and scalable. For example, there is a hub, there is a spoke, there is a spoke, there is a spoke. They are connected to hub and it is going wonderfully fine. Now you come up with another project, another application. No need to, mess with these things which are working fine. You can create another spoke and you can integrate with the hub. Another spoke you can integrate with the hub. And in case if something is already come to end of life, you can simply remove it or decommission it, disintegrate from hub and decommission it. No need to bother the other resources which are connected. So it makes it modular and scalable as well. Flexibility in architecture. And that's it. I think that's all. And if you find it informative, thank you for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye bye.